There we go. We are here. Well, at least two of us are here.
I think so. Am I here?
If you're not here, then I'm imagining you.
Well, today would be the day to do that.
But if I'm imagining you, that would mean that if you are anywhere, you are here, but you're nowhere. But since you know you're here, then I'm not imagining you.
I'm hoping I'm still asleep on the couch, honestly, but, you know.
See, I don't have to smoke to have thoughts like this. They just kind of naturally occur. Yeah. If I could get, actually, let's do a quick level check here because I'm in the yellow.
Oh, I don't know what I am.
I don't
have colors. I don't think so.
Oh, you're down the hall in another room.
Am I down the hall? I can move, or I can see. Let's see.
Figuratively, in the mix, it sounds like you're like. Well, it sounds like we're miking it from my room, and my mic is picking you up from across the country. But
sound. Should be recording.
But and you like the beep boop sounds. Properties. And while he's checking his properties, this actually gives us a nice distraction.
Who changed that? There, that should be better.
That is better.
I set everything to 85. Everything is 85.
85.
85.
And speaking 85, you are now tuned in to way more than the 85th episode of
Insert title here.
The show that changed its name so frequently. We just put a placeholder in, and that's it. That's the name of the show now. That's what the show is called. You know, I've reached this phase. I've pushed through this phase of questioning.
Is this past phase 3?
This is past phase 3. Phase 3 was regretting changing the name of the show back.
I thought
to
phase 3 was money, was profit.
We're on the wrong plan for that.
Oh, there's a different phase setup. I see.
For a long time, I've kind of been like, did it make any sense to this name was a silly throwaway joke that has gone on way too long. But at this point, if I change the name of the show again, I'll regret it because I think at this point, this has gone on so long that this is just what we are, and that's just it. We are.
Gonna have, if you change the name,
yeah.
If you change your name, you're gonna have to figure out a new Sparks name to name it.
Well, the thing is, it hardly makes any sense to change the name of the show when we're in a phase where it's very touch or go if I even have a show. So
true. It's true.
Although I'm pretty committed to doing this every week, and you're pretty committed to doing this most weeks, and so we got enough stability to.
When I'm awake, I mean, honestly, I gotta tell you, the 3:30 to 5 nap, I approve.
That is a good yeah. I approve of that too because that wakes you up in time for the 5 o'clock show start.
Yeah. Well,
2 hours is plenty for a nap.
No, it's only an hour and a half. In theory.
Oh, 3:30 to 5. I forgot.
In
I
theory,
rounded down.
There's sometimes I fall asleep at 4, and then sometimes the echo wakes me up, and sometimes it goes off, and I sleep for half an hour.
Yeah, it could.
And say, I don't know what that noise is, but it's annoying me. And then we put the pillow back over my head.
And Dune is in the room saying,
"Hey, Dune."
Galore. Now, if you like the beep beep boop boops in that, I recommend you check out Memorials. That's who that was. Memorials just put out about a month ago. They put out their second official album called All Clouds Bring Not Rain.
It's raining right now.
Yeah, well, some clouds do bring rain.
Yeah.
But all clouds bring not rain.
Is that a double negative?
Yeah. And
So does that mean all clouds bring rain?
all clouds bring not rain. I think it's trying to be a poetic way of saying not all clouds bring rain. All clouds bring not
Oh,
rain.
the English majors are gonna punch him. Just gonna say.
Well, whatever. It's available on vinyl and streaming and maybe CD.
Apparently, you can get Taylor Swift on vinyl right now too. I didn't know about this. I heard about this on Vinyl Day.
I don't think it's available on cassette, but I did recently.
I know cassettes are making a resurgence. Did you see that?
I've picked up a copy of Attila on cassette, still sealed, $17.
Like I said, they're becoming a resurgence. I don't know why, but okay.
The LPs sell for north of 100, up to 300. So I was surprised the cassette was still sealed, was only 17. So I bought
Because they didn't think people were buying cassettes. Don't worry, in a month.
Well,
a cassette, $95. Watch.
It's a very bizarre cassette reissue, but unfortunately it suffers the same mastering effects as the bootleg CD copies of that album. That it has a type of effect at the start of the songs because it was very poorly. I'm not sure how legit the modern reissues, or not modern reissues, the past the reissues, because it was issued once, it tanked, Billy Joel's career took off, and then bootleggers reissued it. Well, Billy Joel just wished it would go away.
So, do I need to invest in a tape deck now? I used to have a little Walkman. I used to have a little Iowa Walkman, and it finally died.
You could probably find something reasonably priced. The thing is,
I don't know. Is it gonna have the bass boost on it though? Because you have to flip the little thing up to make the bass boost, so it sounded better.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, you got one of those. You turned the bass boost on, never turned off. Never.
Yeah.
Why would you turn it off? It makes no sense. You keep that sucker on.
Well, every now and then there was a tape that I might have dubbed that I boosted the bass myself on the tape dubbing, and then I put in my Walkman, and it was too much, and it was like overloading, and then you
still gotta listen to the bass boost. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, Dean says.
Hypothetically. Well, a lot of things are hypothetical. Hypothetically, I may have watched some videos last night.
Oh.
Hypothetically. Hypothetically, there might have been a. Actually, I think they were both outdoor videos.
Apparently, Dandelions on Netflix. That's what my device over there is telling me. That's so exciting.
Hypothetically.
No, that's good. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
I actually kind of felt like it was a toss-up if Brian would show up this week or not, because last week when I asked if he was still on strike, he didn't say yes. He said he's in Pittsburgh, which means that if he's given an excuse why he couldn't do the show last week, that implies that he might have done it was he not in Pittsburgh. But this week he's not responding, so
maybe he's got that app going. I understand.
He could have an app
maybe
going.
Maybe it's raining. Maybe he's outside at McDonald's, staying dry.
Or maybe his arms are still tired.
What was he doing with his arms in Pittsburgh? I don't want to ask.
Well, because he flew back from Pittsburgh, and boy, are his arms tired. The old that old chestnut.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but we're here. I don't have a whole lot new going on these days.
That's because AI. No, not AI. They fixed the room.
The what?
They fixed your room.
No, conference room material is severely lacking.
Can we call them and tell them to break it so we have content? Can I call them? Do I need to make a call here and there?
One of my listeners, who goes by the name Sparky Toaster, who sent me a screwdriver once, he wants to hear stories about broken conference rooms. I need you to send me some bad equipment that's gonna give me problems.
What are you talking about? They're gonna send you bad equipment. Come on. Your equipment's gonna be bad. It's gonna break in a week. But then you're gonna call them. They're gonna come down, fix it, and leave. Say, oh, the hard drive's dead. We just put a new hard drive in there. Nah, it's done.
Yeah. Oh well, the thing is that device that's in the Paul Revere room is still a ticking time bomb because anytime I have to restart it, it takes like a half hour to boot up.
Why don't they just replace the whole thing?
Well, they have replaced the whole thing. The
Why don't
previous
they
one.
replace the whole thing with something that works?
Because then Sparky wouldn't have any material.
Well, that's true. Unless Sparky works for that company. Have you ever seen Sparky and that company in the same place at once?
I have not.
See? Controversy.
Interesting theory.
Conspiracy. Yes, conspiracy.
Yes. I might have to, next set of repair guys here, be like, hey, excuse me, sir. Can you take off your glasses? Sparky? As if I know what Sparky looks like.
Oh, dear.
You know, he might be pulling a
You knew
Clark
that he's going to
Kent
ask
on
for a
us.
screwdriver back. You know that, right? It's like, yeah, let my screwdriver back, please.
Oh,
Thank
that
you.
screwdriver's next to the living room turntable at the moment because I was adjusting this. Well, you know what? I got to say, taking a week off a few weeks ago was good for me because, you know, taking 40 hours of my valuable vacation time kind of motivates me to, like, get at least one thing fucking done.
Ooh, what'd you get done?
Well, let's see. I got a turntable fixed up.
Wait, it works?
Yes,
Wait, does it turn the right way?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
Well, I've been in the living room. I've been relying on this old Fisher console for nostalgic reasons.
That's
As
the one you bought and that you bought two of?
3 actually.
Okay, 3 of. Never mind.
2 of them were only 8-track AM/FM. The third one had the cassette and the turntable, and was the exact same model as the one my grandparents had that they gave me, and so I had nostalgic connections to that.
Yeah.
And it was cool because like most of my serious record listening is in this room where I have my nice turntable, which we'll talk some more about. Because I had to epoxy it today, so we'll talk about
the
that.
room or the turntable.
Yes, and my fingers. No, actually, this epoxy job did not go that badly. I only epoxied the turntable and only the parts I wanted to. What's that?
Did you use the 50-ton?
50. No, I use the marine stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, I needed to make sure it would bond aluminum to carbon fiber, and so that came up as an option.
Carbon fiber. You can epoxy metal things to your boat. That makes sense.
Right. Well, all right. We'll get to this before we get back to that, since we're on this. So my main turntable, that's my serious turntable for here. It's an NAD C588.
What, you have a NAD in your room?
Yeah, I have a NAD in my room.
Just one?
It was a purchase of necessity, which usually you don't spend $1,000 for a purchase of necessity. Well, I guess, I say necessity not as a real necessity.
You need music in your room. That's a necessity.
The turntable I had been using for my main listening turntable had been giving me problems for years. And it reached a breaking point that I just was like, I'm done with this turntable. I can't make it work right anymore. And Sparky Toaster is in the house.
Sparky.
Raise the roof. We were just talking about you. I used your screwdriver for part of the process of fixing a turntable. But not the turntable we're talking about now, because we're on a tangent from that story onto another turntable.
I have a question. Do you use hydraulics when you raise a roof? How do you do that?
You just pump your arms up in the air. Raise the roof. Raise the roof.
You got long arms.
Got a low roof.
Damn. You're in your basement then, aren't you?
Remember when you go in the backyard and you go into the stick pile and you prop them up against a tree to make like a little fort and like you crawl under there and then you're like, well, how could I raise the roof so I could actually sit in here? Because, you know, I suck at carpentry.
There's usually a cat stuck in there somewhere. hanging out.
But Sparky asking, my screwdriver was put to use. On the air? No, not on the air. Unfortunately. I don't know.
No, you used it on something, not in the air.
Anytime I've tried to stream projects, it gets awkward trying to hold a phone, or it's mostly boring. You know?
But it's not boring when you're drilling into the walls.
Well, yeah, but these projects are a lot of, well, now I'll desolder this, now I'll solder that.
Well, it's also not boring when your machine starts smoking, the magic smoke comes out.
I didn't have any of that. So let's finish our tangent before we get on another one. So maybe about 5-ish years ago, heck, check the show archives. I talked about it back then. The Luxman turntable I've been using for years as my main primary listening turntable was just the problems were accumulating to too much, and I'm like, okay, I either need to put some money into repairing and restoring this turntable, or I need to replace it. And so I found a shop that was recommended to me to see if they could service my turntable and fix it up. And the guy was the type of repair guy that would rather make sales commission than repair problematic work. That he basically chased the job away. I came in with the turntable. He looked at it and he's like, no, it's probably not worth dealing with. And I'm like, okay, well then what do I do with it? He's like, well, you could sell it.
He doesn't want money?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's like, dude, I'm willing to pay $1 for it.
He didn't want my money. Oh. Maybe he heard about me on the internet.
Sparky needs more wood, so he's going to a different tab, I think.
Wood. That will always be what pops into my head when anyone says wood.
Yeah. So the guy didn't want to fix your thing for $1?
No. I think he's trying to move away from the repairs and into the sale. Like he was starting to sell records out of his little hi-fi shop. So I think he just wants to sell hi-fi equipment and records.
Did you buy any?
I looked at them. None caught my eye. They didn't have any Kate Tells. I was wearing my Kate Tell shirt that day, though.
Did you ask him if he had any?
No, but I was wearing the shirt, so maybe that's why he didn't want to fix it.
That's why he did. He goes, oh no, he's in the K-Tel. I'm not fixing his record player.
Yeah, this dude's cheap. He don't. He kept on saying if it was a Lynn turntable, there'd be no question. We absolutely, it's worth fixing up. But this Luxman, it's not, And I'm like, but it's my turntable. And he's like, well, and I'm like, well, what do I do with it if I can't get it fixed up? He's like, well, you sell it. And I'm like, but it's broken and you won't fix it. Who wants to buy a turntable that the repair guy's going to chase away?
Gators, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Who's going to buy a turntable that's broken? How many turntables have you brought that's broken?
I wouldn't buy one that was broken than the way that this one was broken.
Oh, okay. So basically, the skate thingy was fine, and the weight thing was fine on it.
The tone arm bearings had worn out, so that the tone arm was sitting crooked.
That couldn't be that hard to change his bearings, right? People do it in cars all the time.
Well, I mean, I did attempt to take on the job of replacing the tone arm, but that didn't go well either, and that's a whole other story I don't feel like talking about. Okay. It involved me being a dick on eBay, but
well,
the guy was a dick to me, so I was a dick back to him, and since I was the buyer, I had the upper hand. I don't know how I feel about that, but
does that sell percentage ratings on people who buy on eBay?
What's that?
Do they sell a percentage on people who buy stuff?
Well, they have feedback scores.
Yeah.
But they're the numbers are so high for many of the sellers at this point. They're like meaningless. They're kind of like Amazon reviews.
But Amazon reviews are funny to read, so
So basically, that was this guy. He didn't want to. He was basically like, well, it's not worth working on this turntable. What should I do with it? You should sell it. And I'm like, I got a problem with that, because if you're telling me that this turntable's not worth fixing, and then you're telling me I should sell it to someone else, I'm not that type of guy that hands off my problems to someone else, I would have to sell it with full disclosure that this turntable's not worth anything. And it's very hard to make money selling something if your sales pitch is, this really isn't worth anything. Truth of the matter is I actually did a little digging on things today, and that came back to my mind. I could probably buy a replacement tone arm of the same type of tone arm that's currently on it for about $250.
Ouch.
And that would screw into place, and that would probably bring the turntable's value up to around $500 to $700.
Would you do that and then resell it? Or would you even attempt it?
It's an option. Spend $250 to sell it for $500 to $700.
Well, and also,
is it worth?
Yeah, if you fix it, are you really wanting to sell it then?
It's a fully manual turntable, and I've lost interest in fully manual turntables.
Wait, does that mean you have to like crank it while you listen to music, or
that means when it gets to the end of the record, it goes until you get up and lift.
Do they have ones that don't do that?
Most turntables, when it reaches the end of the record, it triggers the auto return to lift up the arm and bring it back to the cradle that it rests in.
So it's not like my old Fisher Price one I had.
And so that's kind of... So anyways, when the guy wouldn't service the old Luxman turntable, I was like, okay, well, if you're... Basically, I needed a turntable. I either needed to get this fixed or I needed a replacement. And so this guy wouldn't fix my turntable, but this guy would sell me a replacement turntable, and I did drive all the way out there. And as much as I was a bit frustrated with him for chasing away my turntable after not talking to me on the phone to determine if it was worth the trip, because that's the thing. I was on the phone with him. I told him everything I had. I told him everything that was wrong with it. He said, bring it in and we'll see what we have to work with. And
Which means he doesn't remember anything you just told him on the phone.
Which means it was and that was an hour drive for me. And so I drive an hour for him to look at it and go, yeah, no, this ain't worth fixing up. And it's like, dude, we could have figured this out on the phone. But I was in a good mood that day because I was excited to fucking do something. And so I'm like, all right, well, this guy kind of pissing me off a little bit, but not enough. Let's see what he can sell me. And I don't think this guy understood that I was serious about buying something. I don't think he thought he was going to make a sale because he was not really doing a good job of hyping up the things. He's like, well, we got this. This is pretty good. And this is better. And I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. And, I kind of, did a little phone looking and thought about it. And and that's how I ended up with the NAD C588. Dune wants to know what was broken on the previous one. The bearings on the tone arm had worn out so that the tone arm was sitting crooked.
The little balls didn't do their job.
Yeah. Basically the tone arm had worn out from years of movement and friction. And he didn't basically his thing was the tone arm can't be repaired. Replacement tone arms are hard to find right now. It was around a time that the major provider or manufacturer of tone arms had recently gone out of business. So modern replacement options were not really there. So it would have been a challenge.
Who knew that tone arm manufacturing would go out of business?
I mean, that's kind of weird.
Considering it's becoming super popular, you would think it would be more and more,
Well, I think what it is aftermarket tone arm replacement manufacturing. There was a company like Gico or Gelco or something like that made tone arms. And I guess that was kind of the go-to. But that had... So basically, like, companies that sell turntables, like Project is a big popular company of modern turntables. They make their own tone arms, and they make their own tone arms for their turntables. In fact, the NAD turntables, they contract with Project to make them tone arms for their turntables. So my turntable's similar to a Project, but not quite.
Is it a project for project?
It's I've heard it pronounced project because they put a dash between the O and the J.
Oh.
But project is a popular line of modern turntables. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? It's modern, it's high end, it's respected online, and I've been having so much trouble with vintage equipment breaking on me. It was the right purchase at the time for me. It gave me a decent brand new turntable, no problems, that I could plug in, I could use, and get high quality vinyl playback. But over the 5 years, it's nagged at me that I don't love this turntable. It's functionally okay, but when having a few Technics turntables come through my life, it's like, how hard would it be for these modern turntable manufacturers to add an auto return to it? I mean, at least, because that's the thing, is that there's two concepts. There's semi-automatic and fully automatic. Semi-automatic means that it'll automatically remove the needle back to the start position when it reaches the end of the record. Fully automatic means that you have a start button you could push that the arm will automatically drop to the start position and then also come off and eject. I mean, so semi-automatic would at least save you the problem of having to get the arm off the record after it ends.
Okay.
So anyways, that but they don't. So Project, Riga, there's another company that makes me think of flatulence, something like something that starts with an FL. These modern U-turn Orbit, these turntables are all fully automatic. They don't even have a speed control. They have, if I want to play a 45, I have to lift the turntable platter off of the turntable. And if I want to not get fingerprint smudges on the glass platter, I got to wear gloves to do this. And then move the belt to the lower position and then put the platter back on so that it'll rotate at 45 RPM. And then I got to take the platter off and set it back.
Wow.
If I want
that's
to
a
do
lot of work.
Yeah, it's fully that's what a lot of the modern turntables are. They're fully manual. They're belt driven. You have to move the belt to the right position, and they don't auto return when it gets to the end of the record. And I'm reaching a point where it's like, you know what? I could probably get a real decent fixed up vintage turntable or a fixer upper that's I'm capable of fixing up. It would probably sound just as good to me, and it would auto return. Why am I? And really, so then I bought, not for up here, because I wasn't seriously thinking about getting rid of the NAD just yet. But this, if we step back from this tangent for a moment to get back to the original story, this purchase has got my mind back on better options.
Okay.
Sparky right again. I have a Technics turntable, but it ain't for sale. Had it since 1986. It's probably it's probably a quartz-driven P mount. Which that ain't
Sparky,
bad.
what do you think about these P mounts? I'm curious about your thoughts.
By the mid '80s, Technics went to a model of cartridge that was a P mount, that the cartridge literally slides into this like holder, and then there's a screw that comes in the side to hold it in place, which makes it real easy to replace a cartridge. It gives you a little less flexibility as to what you can put on it, but the consumers that's for don't need that, don't care about that. So that's not a bad turntable to have. I'm sure
I had a Gold Star one. It wasn't very good. The build on it broke, and I go, that's nice, and I tried to fix it, and it's like, well, it didn't work anymore, so I just never used it again. Yeah. I used it for the tape deck. And then it had 2-speed tape deck, and the regular tape deck, you hit record, and once you hit stop, the record button would fly across the room because it wasn't really in very well, because it was a Gold Star. It wasn't very good, And so it would fly across the room, but then I'd go find that, go spend 20 minutes trying to find the button, put it back on, and then about 20 minutes later, I did the same thing again, and it would go fly across the room. You know what? One of these days, I should have just super glued it, but I never did.
You need to super glue that before you completely lose your vision.
You know what? That thing's been gone for quite a while. I got rid of it. I got rid of that sucker.
Dude wants to know if I saw his suggestion. Dune wrote in, I have a friend whose aunt works at a high-end audio equipment manufacturer. I could ask him. I don't care much about fixing up the Luxman. I don't anymore. The only reason I would fix it up would be to make it a working turntable to sell. And what I'm looking at is that I'd have to spend a few hundred to make a few hundred. I would come out ahead, but not enough for it to be worth my time or effort, but maybe someday. Or maybe someday I'll just see if I can get $100 for it as a parts fixer-upper turntable and just get it out of my fucking basement. I don't know. That's the least of my concerns. Like, that's not a current problem I need to do anything about. It's just the old turntable I don't use anymore and don't want to use again that's sitting in my basement, but could be useful to someone someday.
You should go back to that guy and try to see if you could sell it to him.
He didn't want it. Because I'm like, do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy it, resell it? Or he's like, no, you should just sell it. I don't buy used things anymore. I try to avoid repairs. It's like, then why the hell did you tell me to bring it in here and drive a fucking hour out here?
So you buy one of his records you didn't like.
So I bought the NAD and it served me well for these years. But also meanwhile, down in my living room is where I have that old Fisher console because I bought it since it was the same model as the one my grandparents had given me I used to have. So it was a nostalgia purpose. And it's not a great turntable. It's not a great cassette deck. It's a decent 8-track deck in it, though. But it gets the job done for playing records in the living room because down in the living room, that's my Atmos system. So I do serious Atmos listening down there. But if I'm playing a record downstairs, it's more like in the background while I'm making breakfast or cooking something or tidying things up. So, the old idler wheel turntable in the Fisher was adequate.
You have the Victrola down there, too.
I do have the Victrola and the Diamond disc player.
Yeah, there you go.
And the Zenith AM radiola with electric 78 turntable.
See, you have a lot of radios down there, stereo record things down there.
I got a lot of equipment down there. But the cassette deck in it was giving me trouble, and so I bought that Technics dual cassette deck, kind of fixed that up, got one of the two working pretty good. And then I was like, well, it'd be nice. What would be nice would be to put a nicer Technics turntable down there in the living room because every time I play a record on the Fisher turntable, I can hear the rumble when the needle drops. And it's not that bad, but I notice it. I know it's there. I know it's not a great turntable. But, it's fun. But every now and then I go on eBay and I look for certain models because one of the things I need to have in the living room is a turntable that will let me stack 45s. Because anytime Gothard comes over and we go record shopping, what we like to do is we like to come back. We like to, we listen to some of our LPs, but we also like to take the 45s we bought on that outing and stack them. And I have a stacker on the Fisher, so that works. But Technics did still make stacking record changers into the early 80s. The 1350 had a stacker option, the 1650, and the D5. Those are three models that could do it. And so I tend to kind of keep an eye out on eBay for those models to see if something comes up that's a decent fixer-upper at a decent price. And so maybe a month ago or so, an SLD5 did turn up on eBay for $250. So I threw it in my watch list. And the guy offered me 10% off. And then I offered him $150. And then he offered to sell it for $200. And I said, deal. And so I got that. Of course, the problem is that a Technics direct drive turntable from the early 80s is almost certainly not going to rotate at a steady speed. Dune asking in, how many would those hold? 6, up to 6, which is standard. you start stacking more than 6 anyways. The
Do you have like the stacker extender you can put like 20 on?
The angle of the tone arm's gonna be like dragging the back of the cartridge at that point.
You sit there and mod, solder, and MIG weld something on top of it, make it bigger.
I think the ELACs you can get away with 10, but it's not really recommended. 6 is the standard limit. Well, the weird thing about the Technics changers is they don't have the arm that steadies the records. So they have to use a stacking mechanism that the records balance on without an arm to steady them. And there's different ways that could work. ELAC turntables would actually have a sensor built in so that it would sense there's no weight after the last record dropped, and that would, because it has to know when to stop and not just keep repeating the last record. The way the Technics works is manual. There's a slider control with numbers from 0 to 6, and then there's an R that you can select after the 6 if you just want it to repeat forever. So you basically have to slide that slider to how many records that you've stacked.
All of them.
On it.
Yes, all of them.
And that way, every time it plays a record, it moves the slider down a position, and then when it gets down to 0, it knows it's playing the last record, and it'll stop at the end. So it's a little clunky, but it works. So anyways, I bought this Technics turntable. I got it on the bench. I fired it up, and sure enough, the lines on the stroby thing around the disc are moving this way, that way, this way, that way. It cannot get a steady speed going, and this is before quartz, so it's not going to lock in on anything anyways. And so 9 times out of 10, that means that the capacitors are aging and need to be replaced. 1 time out of 10, it means that an $80 chip needs to be replaced.
Have you put a stock in capacitors yet?
I've bought a kit.
You bought a kit? How many kits have you bought for all the stuff you've gotten?
Enough.
You know what? It's too bad Radio Shack wasn't around. You could have just bought the little pull-out drawers. I want this drawer, this drawer, this drawer, and this drawer. Thank you.
So, well, anyways, I bought a specialized kit for this turntable. There are people on eBay that will put kits together, and they tend to gravitate towards the nicer, higher-end capacitors. And the markup on it is probably good for them. It's still like a $15 purchase for me for a little kit of all the capacitors I need for this one project. It's win-win. I do also have a box I bought off of Amazon that has some very generic capacitors of various values. That's good for, fixing up a few radios and things. So I've been using that for other things. But I bought the kit for this turntable. So that was the project I worked on my week off. I opened up the turntable, and that one was a little tricky because since it's a changer, it has more moving parts in it than the typical Technics direct drive turntable because it's got all the... It's got
to do the little actuation, the arm moving up and down, and it's stuck your part, right?
Well, I mean, even the regular ones would do a auto return, but this one's got moving parts to keep track of how many records it's stacked. And so there's more things I had to work around and maneuver around and move out of the way. I took video of myself narrating, these screws came out of here, I'm putting them here. These screws I'm going to take out of here, I'm going to put them here. This line wraps around this and goes under here. Here's it from this. I narrated multiple videos of my disassembly of this thing.
As you should, and that's what makes it super good now, because a lot of YouTubers I watch that take apart cars and fix them, they take video of what they do because, number one, they're on YouTube, and then right before they put them back together, they sit there and watch their own video back.
Yeah, in fact, I could probably upload one of them to my computer. And bring it up at some point. So yeah, let's. I'm gonna do that now so that we can have that ready for a little later. But anyways, so I replaced the capacitors. I got it back together. I turned it on. Strobe was solid. I did not need to chase down an $80 chip and replace that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was very happy about that. And then the other problem is the stacking, the way that it does stacking, the turntable comes with a little standard stub spindle in the middle for not using changer things. So you have to find a 45 adapter spindle that will fit the turntable. And those, most people that bought these turntables didn't buy the spindle. So there's less spindles than turntables out there.
Oh.
So that was like $130 when I found one of those on eBay.
You could have made your own?
No, because it's got to tie into the mechanics in the hole that pulls the thing and pulls in the... No, it's... But it was easy to justify that $130 expense because previously I was using this ELAC turntable for stacking 45s. That was a pretty decent model. It's idler wheel, so it had some rumble.
Speakers from them, actually.
Yeah. Well, the ELAC stacker is also a rare stacker that brings in a lot of money, and I'm not using it anymore. So I took my ELAC stacker. I took some pictures of it. I listed it on eBay, asking for $190. It sat there for a few days with a few people watching it. I sent a best offer of $150 to the people that were watching it.
Yeah.
After I sent the $150 best offer to the people that were watching it, someone else who wasn't watching it bought it for the full $190.
You know what? That's a good offer.
At the end of the day, I think I got $160 cash after all the expenses and everything, which was more than I paid for the Technics stacker for that turntable. So I came out ahead on that. That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but now I should probably sell the ELAC turntable. It stopped something. The mechanism that tells it that there's still records stacked stopped working. So now anytime after it plays the first record, the arm will lift up, it'll come over, it'll drop a record, and then the arm just parks itself and it shuts itself off. It won't play the second record.
It says, I'm done.
So it's probably a good turntable for someone that wants a decent starter turntable and doesn't care about changer. So I could probably get over 100, maybe 150, 200 for it easy. I just got to dig it out and take some pictures and maybe through Marketplace. I'll try to get... I don't feel like boxing that up and having that get damaged halfway across the country. So, yeah, I got that turntable fixed up. I got it in the living room. I got a selection of 45s down there that I'm playing while I'm cooking breakfast. I'm having a grand old time. I'm loving this turntable. This was a great upgrade. And I had such a good time. It got me thinking, like, man, I should buy one of these for, like, upstairs, too. And then I'm like, yeah, but if I buy one of these, it's not as nice as the NAD. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe I could buy one of the, like, maybe a 1650 would be better than a D5 if I could find a good 1650, and so then I'm using my turntable up here, and so now we return back to the NAD. And the NAD has an azimuth adjustment on the tone.
I was going to ask, was that the one you could slow down and go faster?
The Technics you can.
Oh, the Technics. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I almost forgot the best part of the story. Why I needed to use Sparky's screwdriver.
Oh, yeah. Why?
Well, it's got the strobe and it's got the pitch adjustment, but Technics used to put two separate pitch adjustments on the turntable, one for the 33 and one for the 45, so that way you can get them both dialed in and you don't have to adjust it every time you switch the speed. But by this turntable, they made it a single adjustment that does the pitch for both. So I switched over to 45 and it's running slow. And so I pitch it up and I get it locked, the strobe locked in. Good. Then I switch back to 33 and it's running fast. So I got it dialed up and I'm like, this sucks. Is there a way I can adjust the pitch so that it's closer so that I don't have to keep changing it back and forth, or at least get it close so that it's only a minor?
Butt to do.
So I went to the Audio Karma forums, and someone had a service manual, because I also needed to fine tune the adjustments of where the arm drops down and when the arm gets triggered to lift up, because it was ejecting early. And so I got a service manual, and sure enough, underneath the platter are 2 adjustment screws to fine tune the pitch of the 33 independent and the 45 independent. And so I used Sparky's screwdriver to fine tune that adjustment so that I could get them to the point where they're both the right speed at the same point on the pitch adjustment.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was nice. And I was like, I need a little screwdriver. Where do I have a little Sparky's screwdriver? It's in the drawer upstairs. And as I went there, I got it out, and I used Sparky's screwdriver. And Sparky claps. Thank you, Sparky. So, anyways, that was that. So, the NAD turntable, my fully manual 5-year-old at this point, cost me $1,000 NAD turntable because the guy didn't want to fix up the Luxman, has an azimuth adjustment on it. And what that is that there's a little Allen wrench grub screw at the end of the tone arm, close to where the pivot is, that if you loosen it, the tube of the tone arm will rotate to the left and to the right. So that way you can fine-tune that adjustment to make sure that your stylus is straight, dead-on perpendicular to the record.
Okay.
And it's one of my least favorite adjustments to set because...
I'm sure. And with every different stylus, you'd have to try to change that, right? Was it all not perfect?
Well, in theory, no. A lot of turntables don't even have this setting because generally the head shell it rests flat. I mean, if all things are... These things generally are manufactured pretty precise so that it just... If everything was made right, it just is perpendicular. But sometimes people want to get a, very precise... Maybe it's like, oh, this one's a micrometer to the left. Dune writes in...
How do you mention a micrometer, by the way?
What's that?
How do you measure your micrometer?
Well, that's the thing is I don't really have a good way to micrometer.
I don't know. I just turn the thingy until it sounds good.
I looked into how do I adjust the setting, and what I found was this transparent piece of plastic.
Oh, that's exciting. It's guide?
Yeah, it's got a bunch of horizontal lines on it and a few vertical lines, and it's see-through. So you rest the needle down on the turntable or on a junk record or something where you could observe it. You put this in front of it. Of course, the thing is you got to make sure this is placed in front of it completely perpendicular to it and that you're looking dead on. Because anytime you look at an angle or this is at an angle, your perspective is all off and how you're going to get it exact. And that's the thing. There's so many ways that you could have error introduced in this process. You'd be better off just not having this option. So anyways, Sparky wants to get in on the fun and share his, I clicked on that because I was going to try to get the link, and it just makes it show on the screen.
Well, there you go. I'm sorry.
I have to actually bring up the channel here, and we'll click the link here. Let's see. That is okay. He's got the model number, which is an SLB 260. Okay. It looks similar to like the vintage that my dad had. And yes, that is a P-mount cartridge is what that is.
Wow, Sparky, you've been P-mounting it all these years and do you know it?
Which is good for basically it's not my preferred type of cartridge. But it's just because it gives me a turntable that takes P mount cartridges can only take P mount cartridges, and that limits your options. But it also is a very easy turntable to install or replace a cartridge, so it's a very good option for people that are not as nuts about their cartridges.
My Gold Star, you lift this little tab up on the top, you pop out the cartridge, you pop a new one in, you pop the little tab back on, it's done. No screws involved. That was cheap. But,
So as you can see here, so this picture's sideways. So up on the top of this picture, which is actually to the right of the cartridge, is a screw, and that screw is going through a hole that's in the back of the mount here, and screws into place, and that's what's holding the cartridge in here. So you take that screw out, and this cartridge just slides right out, and then you can just slide in another P-mount cartridge right in there. Put that screw back in. Can you buy new screws
if you lose that one?
What's that?
Are those screws hard to find if you lose it?
I don't. That's not my department, man.
Yes, I never lose a screw. It's okay.
So it's a very easy cartridge replacement. Now, of course, also the stylus slides off the cartridge. So if you get a replacement stylus for that cartridge, you don't even have to take the cartridge out. But if you can't find a stylus for that cartridge, you get a P-mount cartridge. It should just slide right in there, and then you're good to go. Although you might want to, if it's a different weight, you might want to check what adjustments there are to set the tracking force and things like that. But compared to some things, it's a very easy to do a few DIY things on.
Yeah, the way I did it, I just duct taped a penny to the other side of the arm, and that made it just the right way, and it was perfect.
Oh, don't do that.
Gators, it worked fine. It made it all even and whatever. It worked fine.
Well, I used to try to do that to play my birthday record.
You know what? You duct tape a penny, it works fine.
You ever get one of those, floppy records that would go, hey, Jonathan, it's your birthday. My name
floppy.
is Zoom, and I live on the moon, but I came down to earth just to sing you this tune. Because, Jonathan...
I'm sorry.
What? Dice all day?
I'm sorry. That's my phone.
I think...
Sorry about that. It's supposed to be this guy... But basically, there's this app I use called Dice World. It's basically a bunch of dice games that you play on it. And they do... Some guy does these celebrity impression voices, and that was supposed to be Ron Burgundy, and it was not Ron Burgundy, but...
Oh, I found a generic version of it.
Space Command to Zoom. All systems are go for your message to a terrific young man.
Hey, big guy, it's your birthday. I'm in charge of the stars, and I'm here to say, hey, big guy, you're the big star today. My name is Zoom, and I live on the moon, but I came down to Earth just to sing you this tune. 'Cause, big guy, it's your birthday today. A present for you I wanted to find, an outer space creature, a one of a kind, a wild womp or a cuckoo-chew, a snaffle crop or a buzzer snoo, or maybe a three-eyed tickle shay for your birthday. Did you ask?
What's a cuckoo-chew?
Well, up on the moon, it's nothing new, but that won't do for you on your birthday.
That's enough of that. So yeah, you can get personalized versions of that. They got that guy to sing everyone's name. Sparky wants to know what the queuing switch is for on his turntable. If you slide it to the right, it lifts the arm up, and so then you move it over to where you want to drop it on the record, which might be the leading groove, or you might want to just play a song later in, and then you slide it back to the left, and it slowly, gracefully drops the needle down onto the record. Being that you're asking what that does, I take it you just picked it up and dropped it down, which is also a perfectly adequate way to use that turntable.
You just move the needle to the empty spot and just go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
that
used
works.
to do. I'm like, hey, look, it's clear. Just pop there next track.
My dad always used the cueing on his turntable that had, when he bought that one, he'd bring it over, slide it over, neatly drops down. There you go. So yeah.
So what
Sparky,
takes
right-
longer, lifting up the toner arm and just moving it to where to go, or pushing the cueing thingy?
Well, I mean, the queuing thing probably takes a little more time, but it's also ensures that you don't accidentally drop the needle in the wrong place, or it lets you. It slowly drops it down in the right position, but you could just never touch it and just manually move the needle over and drop it down. I mean, that worked fine in the 70s.
Yeah, screw the extra work. Just do it myself.
Well, I mean, basically, it's like even 70s turntables would have that little flippy arm thing in the back near the pivot that would cue the arm up or down. So it's basically the modern. It was the 80s version of that. Is what that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you just tell it looks for it, and the little laser finds it for you.
But anyways, yeah. So I was adjusting the. I lifted the arm up off of the record when it got to the end because it's a manual turntable, and the azimuth turned. The arm rotated, and I'm like, oh shit! Now I'm gonna need to adjust this azimuth again. I don't know how this screw got loose, so I get the Allen wrench, I loosen the screw, I get the guide, I adjust the azimuth, I tighten the screw, I make sure it's firm, but I don't over tighten it because I don't want to make something crack. But it should be firm, should be holding into place. And then a few records later, I lift it up, and it rotates again. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And sure enough, even when I have the screw tight, the arm's rotating. And I'm like, oh God, another, and so I'm like, well, let me try tightening it a little more, but without breaking anything. And I did not over tighten and break anything, but I did tighten maybe a little more than recommended, and I just couldn't get it to really grab it and stop it from turning. So I thought, well, maybe the screw's not long enough, or maybe the screw's worn off on the end. So then I go on to Amazon, and you could spend $7 on a few grub screws, or you can spend $7 on a 240-piece set of grub screws of different sizes and lengths. Yeah,
just buy the 240 set, honestly.
And that way I could make sure I get the right size, and then I could try longer ones. And then also it comes with, I mean, heck, it was worth it alone for the little set of Allen wrenches. Yeah, it did. It came with the Allen wrenches.
You know what? Bonus right there.
Well, that is a bonus because if I want to sell this turntable, I don't have all the Allen wrenches it came with anymore. So I could just throw the Allen wrench from here into there so I could sell it with all the parts it needs to adjust it to the next owner. And I mean, $7 was worth it for a cheap Allen wrench to give away.
Exactly.
Because I don't need them because I got this thing.
And now you got those extra grub screws to go with it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't. So anyways, I tried a longer screw, and it still did the same thing. It still rotated. So I'm like, okay, the screw's tight, the arm's rotating. And I realized as I'm turning it that I was able to slide the tube forward. And it turns out that basically the carbon fiber tone arm tube slid over a aluminum sleeve, a coupler piece, and it was the aluminum piece that was being held firmly in place by the grub screw, and the aluminum piece was being held firmly in place. It's just that whatever adhesive was used in manufacturing to adhere the carbon fiber tone arm to the aluminum part had worn off, and now they were just freely rotating from one another. There was no cracks, no damage, no messy residue. It just cleanly slid right out, and I mean, it was dangling by the wires because all the wires run in there. And I'm like, okay, I just need to get some appropriate adhesive for this and glue this thing back together.
Gators, you know what my first thought would have been?
What's that?
Duct tape.
I wish I knew you were going to say that, so I could have just cued.
I was wondering if you were going to cue it up, man. You know. Nope. Duct tape would have fixed it. Sorry.
Yeah, that would have right there.
You gotta use duct tape on your nads. Just saying. Oh, you know what? You want a little extra? You get the bright orange stuff, Sparky.
Come on.
Silver or black duct? Actually, the black duct tape would match the toad arm better.
I would use bright orange.
But anyways, no. So I bought some epoxy, and I put that on there, and of course
you have to do the mixing because I know some epoxy you don't have to mix, but some you do.
No, this is the type that had the injector, the plunger that pumps them both out simultaneously. Although it tells you push until you get some fluid out of both tubes, clean it away. This clean it off. This ensures that what you mix up has even 50-50 mixture of both.
Okay.
Then you squeeze and mix it up, and it came even with a little tongue depressor to apply. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to apply a nice thin layer, and I'm not going to cover the whole thing. I'm going to cover close to the edge, so that way when the carbon fiber tube goes on there and pushes excess away, it'll adhere the excess to the parts I didn't apply to, and hopefully I won't have a ring of excess at the end of pushing these parts together.
Well, you get the X-Acto knife and spend 20 hours trying to scrape it away carefully.
Well, actually, I did get the excess, even though I tried to not be too liberal with my applying of the Gators not be too liberal. But no, I still got the excess. I was a little more liberal than what would be precise.
It's fine.
But it was not too bad. I was able to dab it up a bit. I got Q-tips and rubbing alcohol to kind of clean it away so that it didn't make a mess. And I got it nice and clean. And it's the 5-minute drying stuff. Of course, they give you 3 different times.
Yeah.
Because it takes 5 minutes to dry. It takes 1 hour to cure. But you should wait 24 hours before applying pressure.
How'd that go?
Went fine. I'm outside of the 1 hour window, but I'm waiting for the 24. But I've already tested it because then I realized, oh shit, I have not thought this through. Because sure, I have glued the carbon fiber tone arm to the aluminum, but the excess is probably going to glue the tube to the stationary end, and now the azimuth's not going to adjust at all. So before it got too hard, I loosened the grub screw to see if it would rotate, and it did. It did rotate, so I did not actually glue it too shut. And then I tightened the grub screw, and I applied a little bit of pressure, and it held. And I loosened the grub screw, it rotates. I tighten the grub screw, it holds. It doesn't rotate. And that's after an hour of curing. Of course, tomorrow I'll do a little more testing, not too stress testing. So, no, I thought maybe I messed up, but no, it worked out fine. I was able to make it rotate before it held on more than I wanted it to hold on.
Don't let a cat in the room because you might have a cat stuck to your tone arm.
And then I did the little bit of, I basically got not Sparky's screwdriver, but I had another screwdriver up here because Sparky's screwdriver's still in the living room next to the turntable down there, to kind of get into the groove to make sure, because I didn't want to see white glue residue in the groove there of the tone arm, because I am seriously considering selling this turntable to replace it with something that would be of same ballpark in quality, but is at least semi-automatic or maybe fully automatic or maybe even a changer. Because I think I could easily, especially, and the thing is like, yes, I did have to repair this, but what did it originally have on it? Adhesive. What did I put on it? Adhesive. What did I do? I upgraded the adhesive. I don't think this is a used turntable that broke.
This is a turntable. It's upgraded though.
Should I disclose that I had to re-glue this turntable when selling it?
You don't need to disclose it if you can't tell. It stays the way it is. You don't need to really say anything.
I don't think I really need to.
No.
So I mean, it was $1,000 brand new. In fact, I tried to get a good like price range on eBay. I couldn't find one of the same model on eBay at this time. The C558, which is its younger brother, that sells more regularly because it's a cheaper model. Mm-hmm. So I suspect I could easily get more than $500 for this. I could probably get in the ballpark of 700 to 800 minus fees. I'm looking at 600 at least, north of 500. That's decent money to take and buy another vintage fixer-upper that I just need to recap. So I'm seriously considering getting something automatic up there because, I use it while I'm working, but it's annoying that I have to get up and take it off, every 20 minutes. Although, I mean, really, I have to get up to turn it over. So it forces me to listen to the other side. I mean, heck, maybe this will be a bad thing. Maybe this will cause me to only listen to side one and be wrapped up in working hard as I always do, and never getting around to flipping the record over. I don't know. Or maybe if anyways, that's what I'm thinking. Or maybe I'll just, get things aligned again tomorrow and just go back to life as it was with it now fixed and azimuthing correctly. But I am seriously thinking about that. I still have the original box it came in, which sustained some water damage, so I might have to tape it up a bit. But the point is it's got all the original styrofoam packing material, so I can relatively easily box this up in packaging that would absolutely be safe to ship it without fear of damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I usually don't keep my boxes because I don't know where to put them.
Yeah. But well, something new. I try to keep the box for at least warranty period.
Oh yeah. I keep a box for a little while if I buy something that's expensive, but otherwise I don't. Unless it's like a TV or something that's massive, it's like, oh, where am I gonna put this stupid thing? Just get rid of it. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I got my 65-inch TV box stashed next to the wall in the basement, and I've not gotten around to. Well, that'll come in handy if I ever move.
Yeah, I would have got rid of that box and just said, if my TV broke, just take it back to Best Buy. Here's a receipt. Have a nice day.
So, anyways, one of the. Oh, you know what? Maybe someone just sent me an offer for another turntable I'm looking at because I started asking, I basically started chatting with Copilot and Grok about what tone.
Wait, do you have Super Grok or is that only Dune?
No. Oh, yeah. I gotta send. I let's see if I remember to send Dune a text on Wednesday to. I have an idea. You know what? I'm not going to say what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
on
don't
Wednesday.
say it. Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin it. But I'm gonna send
save it
Dune
for the show.
something.
Yeah.
I'll save him something on Wednesday.
Yeah, there you go.
But so Grok recommended because I asked Grok what could I get that's fully automatic, would do a superior job of tracking inner grooves, would pair well with my Audio-Technica cartridge, and would also pair well with a Soundsmith Ada if I decide to spend the money to buy that in the future.
Did it scratch its heads? I have no idea what you're talking about.
It said, well, a JVC QL Y5F would be the perfect turntable for you.
Oh.
And then I asked Grok what it thought I should get for a turntable that would meet those requirements. And it recommended some brand I never heard of based out of Germany that doesn't even have a distributor in the United States. The Record F400. Rekkord. I think they're German. I forget. All I know is
they spelled record wrong.
I
in record.
I don't know where I would buy one. Oh wait, they have a USA site. Maybe I'm a little wrong. Let's see, Record USA, F400, $800. So those are the two options that I've come up with. A modern option, which is an $800 option, which is supposed to be, maybe it's only semi-automatic because I don't see any start button here.
Do those come with cartridges, or you have to put your own on?
It comes with a modern Ortofon 2M Red, which just about every new thing comes with. Or you
Are
can
you still gonna get a magnetic one for it?
That is a magnetic, but actually, that's the same cartridge that the NAD came with, and I still have that cartridge tucked away in a drawer, brand new, never used, with the cap still on it, which is what I will install back on it if I sell it. So that way, not only does it come, it used turntable, brand new, never used cartridge and stylus. That's a bonus, ready to go right out of the box. You don't have to worry about the needle,
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Advanced fully automatic 3345/78 sub chassis turntable with massless tracking force adjustment and eye-catching aesthetics. So that's cool that it does 78, because that's not all that common. And yeah, I could buy it through their US record shop. So that Grok is recommending the Record F400. Copilot is recommending a vintage JVC turntable. And I found one on eBay that I threw in my watch list just to kind of keep an eye on things. And the dude just offered me $20 off for it right now while I was talking about this. So yeah, it's a JVC QL Y5F direct drive quartz lock full automatic turntable. Of course, neither of these are changers, but then again, if I got a changer, it would not be up to the quality of these turntables. Probably the best I could do for a changer would be like a Technic 1650, which would not be bad, but I don't know if it's going to really match the quality of the NAD carbon fiber tone arm. Now, that's the funny thing. So since I have two AIs giving me two different recommendations, I decided to see if they could collaborate. So I copied what Copilot said to Grok. And Grok said, no, I still the JVC's a fine turntable, but the Record F400 really. So I copied what Grok said back to Copilot. Copilot said, "Oh, that's not a low mass tone arm. That's a medium mass tone arm, and that's not going to no." You and so I kept pacing back and forth. They would never agree. It was like watching two audiophiles debate. It was weird. They kept digging in their heels, defending their position.
That's funny.
That is funny. So I got options. I got time to think about it because I really don't think I want to pull the trigger on anything until after I've sold this and have cash in hand, if I'm going to do that. I mean, as easy it would be to just, spend $600 right now on a vintage JVC, then, what if it doesn't sell?
Mm-hmm.
That
is true.
Not that that's going to bankrupt me, but like I do want to. I've spent a lot of money for myself recently with the turntables in the living room and the speakers. At this point, I need to lay off the expensive gifts to myself unless I get the cash from somewhere else. I've kind of spent my stupid fun money for the year.
Oh, there you go. There you
go.
Yep.
So let's see. Dune is sending me a link from Grok of a Sparky Toaster turntable.
Nice.
Does it have sound? Oh, it does. All right, we got to share the screen now. That's the wrong button. There it is, a Sparky Toaster turntable.
Well, there you go.
Dune writes in, do it. I would with a case. If I hadn't just spent $1,000 on new speakers and $200 on that project turntable already, and another $100 on a needle for that turntable, the spindle canceled out with another sale. And I finally took the in-wall speakers out and started working on patching those up and listed those on Facebook Marketplace, but no bites yet. Sparky writes in, does Johnny send a email out at quitting time like he does at the beginning of the workday to prove he was working at the start and end times of the job? Not really. Especially since at this point I don't even really do much in the way of traceable work towards the end of the day. One of the things that I've been tasked with doing, mainly just to make sure that my goals section on my performance review looks good at the end of the year, is my boss bought me a book on learning PowerShell, which I already know. But,
oh yeah, PowerShell.
And so he wants me to read the book and do the exercises so that we could say on the performance review.
Is he going to give you a test at the end or a quiz?
No, it's all honor system. So I could just say I read the book and it'd be fine, but I may as well actually read the book. I mean, this is part of the reason why I went and got an eye appointment and got a new pair of glasses. Are there answers at the end of the book? There are not answers at the end of the book. There are answers
you did
right
get the
after.
teacher's edition.
There are answers right after the questions.
Oh.
They literally give you, here are your labs, here are the answers to the labs. So,
Yeah. See, in college, it was great. You could go, and you may need to know a book vendor or two. You could go to the bookstore and buy your books for class, and if you look, you could find the teacher's edition usually. So all the answers are after the questions. Now, I didn't show you how to work it, but he would give you the answers right there, which was great.
right.
Yeah, that's what I always did.
Well, a lot of books had a lot of student books would have the answers in the back of the book. Like, in fact, I remember my what math class was that? Was that trig? Was that might have been trig. My trig teacher. Well, she was awesome. First of all, I knew her since I was a baby, so because she lived behind us. But while I was good at math, I didn't need homework for math to know how to do it. And so our trig teacher basically said, I'm going to assign homework. And, sometimes students do this thing like, oh, my God, the answers are all in the back of the book. That's great. You could use that to check your work. And her policy was she didn't care if we did the homework or not. She didn't check the homework. We didn't have to turn in the homework. She assigned the homework. If you did it, great. And if you didn't do it, then, it's all about how you do on the test. If you didn't do the homework.
A lot of instructors were exactly the same way.
She was like the only teacher I had through the high school years that was ever like that. All other teachers, they needed things to check and grade and mark down and justify their existence. But she's like, look, do the homework, don't do the homework, I don't care. It comes down to the test. If you need to do the homework and to pass the test and you don't do the homework, you're only hurting yourself. Mm. And me, I was just naturally good at math. I never did a single homework assignment. I aced all of her tests. Usually I got the extra credit and got like 102 or 104.
Yeah, who wants to beat up Yaters right now?
Oh, yeah. Ask me about English class, though. Well, I needed those math grades to compensate.
For English.
To compensate for my English D's. I was getting a bunch of D's nuts in English.
Well, it's okay. You don't need to know what a past participle is. It's fine.
Oh, God. Don't remind me of diagramming sentences.
Yay, sentence diagrams.
Oh,
It's our
God.
favorite.
No.
Actually, it's kind of funny how much you don't remember. In one of my labs, right across the hallway, they would teach ESL, and I would sit in the hallway as one of the classes would go on, or go like French or something were going on, and I listened to the ESL class, and I'm like, holy crap! I was like going back from elementary school. I'm like, holy crap! I forgot about all this stuff. I'm glad I don't have to take this anymore.
So, yeah.
There is one.
It's nice. I never have to sit through another day of school ever again in my life.
There's
Isn't that
something
nice?
very common between Dune's cases and your turntables.
Heck, I bet you one of Dune's cases has an azimuth adjustment.
Well, I'm thinking some are automatic and some are semi-automatic and some are manual. Just saying.
There is that. But are any of them direct drive and are any of them belt driven?
Oh, if he had a direct drive or belt driven, man, he'd back in the 30s or 40s. Ooh, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah. Oh, dude says yes
Dude
and
already
yes.
getting yes and
yes.
He's got both kinds. Or all three kinds. And yes.
Oh,
Yeah, you know
goodness.
what? I can play Yes records on my turntable, too.
There you go.
Yeah, so, well, as soon as I give the glue the rest of its 24 hours to super cure, I guess, because it cures it.
Wait,
in
you
an
can play
hour.
the Cure, too.
I could play the Cure.
Yeah,
I don't
think
have any
they had a
records.
super Cure. But...
I don't have any records by the Cure. Never cared for them.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I always confuse them with the Knack. I don't know why. Not because they sound the same, but like this band names, Cure, Knack. I don't know.
Is it because
They're words. They're just
Yeah,
simple
is it
words
there
that
are
are kind of.
four letters apiece?
Because I know Gothard would talk about, the Cure. I'm like, I hate that song, My Sharona. He's like, no, that's the Knack. I'm like, what's the Cure? What did they do?
You should get a Cure album so you can listen to what they got.
I have no idea what they did, but I don't think I like it.
Oh. Well, that's how it goes.
Anyways, so going back to Dune saying I should just pull the trigger on this turntable, it's the first one I found on eBay of this model. I don't even know what a good price is for it. And this one is advertised as has some light damage to exterior, see photos. Radial arm is stiff as well, raising and lowering. And that's another thing about this turntable that scares me, or this model that scares me, is that the tone arm uses a type of servo technology that I have never heard of before, am not familiar with, but Copilot started telling me about it. And generally when Copilot starts telling me about things, it's usually getting them wrong. So, but I believe that the tone arm has certain dampening electronics built into it that's supposed to help it track better. And that scares me a bit because that means that that's vintage electronics that could have aged. And I have no idea how delicate that is or how likely that is to need to be serviced or if that's something I could service.
You just throw the little dielectric grease on the thing and lube that sucker up and go? Is that how you fix it?
I mean, heck, remember I have my old Luxman turntable sitting in the basement doing nothing. Why? Because the tone arm shot on it and it wasn't worth repairing. I don't need another one of those. And that's the problem with buying vintage turntables I'm not familiar with. A Technics is your standard manual tone arm. The electronics generally 90% of the time are fixed up with a recap. I know I can get a Technics direct drive working no problem up here if I buy one of those. This JVC turntable that's over $500, I don't know what I'm getting into. I want to have a better idea of what I'm getting into and if I can handle it before I pull the trigger on something. I mean, this is something I just started pondering this model today. I'm not ready to buy a case, so to speak.
Okay.
But the option is there.
That works.
And then again, there is always the Grox option of the $800 record F400 that I could order in matte black or high gloss black. Oh, the high gloss black is $950.
Yeah, that high gloss black would be nice, but you know that sucker's gonna get dirty as crap when you look at it funny.
Ooh,
You're gonna find cat hair all over it.
I can get cherry wood for $900.
Cherry wood might be nice, actually.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Matte black for $800. Do I really need cherry wood for an extra $100?
Maybe. Depends. Does it match the aesthetics in the room?
They all match the aesthetics of the room.
Okay.
The room doesn't have aesthetics.
Oh. Does it match the acoustics in the room?
Yeah. Because I got a shelf mounted to the wall to isolate it from the floor, or to help isolate it from the floor. So, anyways, that's another option. But again, these are two turntables that until today I didn't even know existed. So I'm not ready to pull the trigger on something today. But I am serious. In fact, I mean, that's the other thing is that do I really want a new? I kind of like the aesthetic of the Technics Direct Drive. Maybe even though the Technics might not be the superior option, am I really that kind of audiophile?
I don't know. We could. Did you message Steve Gutenberg and say what he thinks about this idea?
Well, keep in mind he recommends cheap crap and expensive crap. So he has something nice to say about everything.
So
can you really take someone like that seriously?
Maybe he
even has been
He
known.
does funny writing. I don't know. Don't look at me.
And yet he always has to be really snarky when talking about quad and surround sound. Fucking asshole.
Well,
kidding,
nice.
Steve. Love you, Steve. Please call me again sometime.
Yeah, I'll send him a text and go, yo, Steve. Gators are talking smack about you again.
Hey, Steve, we cool, right? We still cool.
No, he'd be talking smack about me. I'm never inviting him over again.
Yeah. Dune, keep on going to the police academy, Steve. Actually, it's not Steve Gutenberg, it's Steve Guttenberg, the audiophiliac.
Yeah, Steve Gutenberg's the guy from Police Academy.
Right. Steve Guttenberg is the audiophiliac.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know what we can do. I uploaded that video of my going over the parts of the computer to refer to later. Let me see if I could get that off of my Google Drive so that we could I could show you a bit of what I did. Oh, it can't scan it for viruses. Oh, download it anyways. And we'll just throw that on my desktop is what we'll do.
So I do have a question for you, Gators, while you're doing that.
Okay.
Did you partake? Was it last Saturday Vinyl Day? Did the National Record Day or something? Did you take advantage of that?
I considered it, but I didn't. I haven't participated in it in a long time.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Well, I kind of don't like it. Record Store Day. I did participate in the first Record Store Day and the next few after that.
Did you get a shirt to tell you that you participated?
One of the years I did.
Okay.
Record Store Day came into being when record stores were not doing as well. A lot of them had closed up. Records were not quite as popular as they are now. Records are still around. I was in California when the first Record Store Day happened. So I went out to Haight-Ashbury area, went to Amoeba, went to Recycled Records.
Amoeba even around here anymore? I don't know.
I think they are. They're the biggest one.
You know who's gone, though? I think Rasputin's is gone.
Well, the Rasputin in San Leandro's gone, but the Rasputin at Haight-Ashbury.
Rasputin's.
But there's still a Rasputin at Haight-Ashbury in there, and
Gators, guess what? This is something that you'll find interesting. This is separate completely. But Southland Mall got bought out, and they're closing a lot of crap down on it, and they're opening up other things.
Has Southland gone dead mall?
It hasn't gone completely dead. but someone bought them out, and now there's ghetto people hanging out. Well, it's Hayward, so never mind.
I gotta tell you, malls are. You know what? What surprises me, like the mall in our area is so dead that they've put up signs telling people not to take pictures or use their cameras to try to drive away the dead mall streaming crowd.
Oh, people are like, yeah. No, I think what's going to happen with this mall, actually, I think it's another company, so I think they're going to try to like make it something else. There's that round one right there. There's a bunch of other crap. It's just, and the thing is, the only time that mall ever gets popular is during the holidays, and then you can't drive down our street because it's stopped all the time because people are always at that mall. But during the year, no, it's empty.
Well, I've been watching the Dan Bell YouTube channel. He goes and takes videos of all these dead malls. And a few weeks ago, he did a video about a mall that Gothard and I used to shop at in the Harrisburg area when we were in college together, the Colonial Park Mall.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, it is just like dead. It is there was like most of the stores inside of it were closed. Even the GNC and the Bath Body Works were closed. Which your mall is in bad shape, but those two stores close.
Well, when Bath and Body Works closes, the problem is I've seen people do urbex on malls that have been closed for 10 years, and the place where the Bath and Body Works and stuff are still smells like it.
Well, yeah.
The smell never goes away.
Doesn't surprise me in the least. Sparky asking if I ever went to Park City Mall in Lancaster. I've been to a few malls. I remember Colonial Park Mall. I remember Lebanon Valley Mall. I think there was other malls we shopped at, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. The thing I remembered about the Colonial Park Mall was that they had a parking garage on top of one of the anchor stores. I think it was on top of the Boscov's, and then you could just take an elevator down into the Boscov's from there. I don't know if that's still the case or not. I think the Boscov's is still open there.
What's that?
It's a store. But you know what? Let me map it and see if I recognize that mall. Because certainly Lancaster would have been within driving range of. You know what? I wonder if that's the mall. Does that mall have an Orange Julius?
Which one? Mine?
No, the Park City
I
Center.
don't know. Did they all have an Orange Julius at one point?
Not the malls that we normally went to. It's funny. All 4 years of college, Gothard talked about Orange Julius.
I loved Orange Julius.
How much he loved Orange Julius.
Yeah, they're amazing.
He wanted to get an Orange Julius. And like our last week of school, we drove out to the Record Connection in Ephrata, and then we went exploring a little bit, and we found, I don't know why we went out driving further beyond Ephrata, but we ended up driving out past Ephrata, and we ended up at another mall, and they had an Orange Julius. And he was so thrilled with this that, like, the night before graduation, he messaged me, "Hey, feel like an Orange Julius?" I'm like, "Sure." And we hopped in this car, drove out there so we went there twice for Orange Julius.
Yeah,
He's
you know what? I understand. They're amazing, and it's a childhood thing that when I grew up, we had Orange Juliuses, and at the mall here, they had an Orange Julius slash Dairy Queen, I think it was.
You know what? Like I think Park City Mall's our Orange Julius Mall. This is because it had like that big center area that I've seen from this profile picture. This looks, I think we basically continued on Ephrata down 222 or something. It looks like we would do to get down to, that's the Orange Julius Mall.
Oh, the one that isn't around anymore?
I don't know what's still there at Park City. The Park City Mall's still there, but I don't know if there's an Orange Julius there or not. We might have to see if they have a listing on the website.
That place is so great.
Let's see. There's a map. Let's take a look at because I know the Southland Mall has an Orange Julius.
Well, no, they used to. I think they closed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kohl's, JCPenney. Charlie's, Philly Steaks, Great American Cooks.
Dude, Philly cheesesteak.
I'm not seeing Orange Julius on this mall map. Let's click on food. No, Great American Cookies, Charlie's Philly Steaks, and Stir Fry 88. Oh, they got rid of the Orange Julius.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, no, me and Gotham hung out that mall the night before graduation for an Orange Julius.
Yeah, actually, most Orange Julius is good. You're exactly right, Sparky. Most Orange Julius went out of business unless they did a shared collab with Dairy Queen, from what I remember. There's a whole thing on YouTube about it.
That's most of the ones I've seen in recent times.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the one there may have been a combo.
No, it was a combo. Yeah. It was great because I go in there and get a Blizzard and an Orange Julius at the same time and double fist it and walk out. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Of course.
You Orange Julius and a Blizzard, you might as well.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Anyways, I got my video here of working on the turntable, and being that I wasn't making this video to send people or share, you were
wearing pants, right?
I'm not in it, and I was wearing pants, but I held the phone upright, so please pardon my long.
Wait,
tall.
Netflix is doing that. You can watch vertical video on Netflix now. That's what they're adding.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
Sure.
No, it's not. Why would you watch Netflix vertical? Why? Just to, you know what? Did they just do it? Say, we know this Dune guy. We're gonna mess with him.
Because
Netflix vertical.
We're going to watch everything vertical so that over the next few generations, we're going to evolve to have two eyes, one on top of the other, instead of side by side.
You know what? Honestly, you're going to do it, and then you're like, yeah, there's this little bitty picture on the top and nothing throughout the rest of the phone. That's what it's going to be.
So here's what the turntable looked like once I got the bottom off of it and start. And as you can see, the circuit board that I need to get to the other side of is underneath a bunch of other brackets and moving parts that are right in my way and wired into all different things. Not the SL1700 I worked on was way easier to get the board out and work on. This thing's buried under some things. Not the worst in the world, but it was a little harder than I was expecting.
Okay, we've opened this up. We've taken out 5 screws from this board. This hole next to the S2 has a shorter screw than the other 4 screws that were also taken off of this board. I'm now working on removing this entire part because the motor is all attached to this. Although the pictures I saw online didn't look like it was quite as involved with all this, but I don't see another way to do this. So I believe this screw here, which has a little stuff attached to it, this screw here also goes through, which has a different color. This screw here looks rather normal, and this screw here, and that's when I put them partially back in to try to keep track of these screws. So let's take this screw off and put that over here. Let's work our way right to left. So we'll come back down here to this screw that holds the connector, which is a reddish color, but it also screws into the plinth. We'll put that next to there. That one's a little bit longer. This one here in the middle looks fairly normal like the others. Let's take it out. And let's put it down here. This screw looks to be the same as the other screw that we took out over there. I mean, I think this and that screw are the same type. And then we got this one over here, which we're going to take out, which I think is also the same. Yeah, I think those 3 screws are the same over there. And now I am lifting things, but I have moving parts here because we have stuff that I mean, we got the tone arm there, which doesn't need to come out, and this should be independent of, but some of these parts are overlapping with that. And we also have these, okay, this linkage comes over here to the start-stop. So I guess that needs to come out of there, unless it...
Well, you get the idea of that. Sparky wants to know if his screwdriver's in this video. No. I have a screwdriver set that includes mini screwdrivers in my basement. So Sparky's screwdriver is a... well, Sparky's screwdriver was originally my bag screwdriver. But then when I got my bag back that had my original bag screwdriver, Sparky's screwdriver was upgraded to bedroom, living room screwdriver. Basically first, second
Wow,
floor.
you took Sparky's screwdriver to the bedroom? Nice.
Well, usually I keep it in my little drawer in my coffee table I have here in front of me, but it's downstairs in the living room because I was using it to work on that turntable adjustment. Sparky writes in, when I see springs on things I'm taking apart, I get nervous. Yeah. Oh, it was nerve-wracking. I didn't have to remove any of those springs, but I had the cable that was wrapping around things and the linkage that was going into the thing. That got a little nerve-wracking. That's why it's like I'm taking video of this so I could watch the video and see what happened. So that worked out good. It worked out great. Worked out perfect. And Sparky also sent us a link of where all the Orange Julius locations are. Which wants me to verify I'm a human.
Well,
all right, let's. You know what? It wants to search my zip code. Let me put in my zip code. See where the nearest one to me is. Oh, Providence Place Mall has one. So there's that.
there you go.
And let's put in the zip code for Lancaster and see if Park City. All right, 17601 is what we'll put in there. Let's see. They have one at 1935 Columbia Avenue, 1512 Cumberland Street in Lebanon, and 1455 South Queen Street in York. Home of the Peppermint Patty. So Lancaster is at 1935 Columbia Avenue. What's at 1935 Columbia Avenue?
I don't know.
Because the Park Center Mall is at 142 Park City Center. So now I got to figure out, this is thrilling radio.
I assume at 130 whatever Park Matt, there's probably an Orange Julius there. That's all I know.
Well, usually they're not just standing alone.
It could be he'd just be standing there alone.
Okay. It is a Dairy Queen is what it is.
See? Dairy Queen.
It's a Dairy Queen that sells Orange Julius's, I guess, is what that is.
I approve.
Yeah.
Double fisted. Blizzard and Orange Julius right there.
That is probably the best way to do it. It is. It doesn't actually say Orange Julius on the building. It's just a Dairy Queen. But I guess it counts as... I guess they sell the products at it, so I guess it counts.
Oh.
Because it shows up on Orange Julius's site. So, yeah, they don't have one in the mall anymore, unfortunately.
Sad.
Yeah. You have to go to Dairy Queen if you want to get one of those now.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sparky asking if Columbia is off of 283. I closed the tabs. I don't know. But as Dune said, as Sparky points out, Dune said Dairy Queen bought Orange Julius. Yeah. So it makes sense that I just usually see them as shared kiosks at the mall. I haven't been to a Dairy Queen in like ages. So
Yep. This is
Dune
exactly right, Dune.
it's right next to the chicken and taco place.
Yep. That's exactly right.
But yeah. So meanwhile, I've been, it's kind of, the vacation was good for me
Oh, that's good.
it forced me to do a project. And then also I recently worked on the cassette deck. So like it's like I'm actually being productive with my hobby stuff, more productive than I've been in years. I've usually been very lazy about these things. And then also I tell you, I could rant about Linux sound settings for hours and it would put you all to sleep. So I still haven't
figured it out.
I've figured out how to configure a Pi 3 to swap the channels to cancel out the error. I figured out how to configure Diet Pi on a mini PC to swap the right channels to work right with the Plex amp.
Okay.
I haven't figured out how to get the Pi 4 to do it.
Oh, I thought the Pi 4 would have been fine. The 3 is the one I'd be worried about.
Well, the 3 you can set to use a legacy driver that will allow you to configure things easier, whereas the Pi 4 doesn't support those options. So the Pi 4, I don't know how it could be done with the current driver it uses.
Okay.
Sparky writing in, the poor Philco TV never gets any love. I do look at it and think about it, but now that I'm actually working on things, that brings me a few steps closer to getting to that Philco TV. But right now I've got an old GE portable 8-track player taken apart on my workbench that I recapped because it was all crackly and squealy. So now I fixed that. But now my dilemma is figuring out how to add Bluetooth capability to it. And at first I thought that the 8-track player on it was broken, which if the 8-track was broken on it, that would make things so much easier because it's not worth fixing, which means that I could just remove the 8-track parts, mount a rechargeable lithium-ion battery in the 8-track compartment, wire it, and then how do you deal with that? Well, the battery is 12 volt. Oh, it runs off of 6C batteries, so that's 9 volt. So then you got to step that down to 9 volt. Oh, but the Bluetooth module runs off of 5 volt. So then you also got to make a step down to 5 volt for that. Oh, to charge the battery, you need to take 5 volts from USB-C and step it up to 12 volt. So now you got to get a chip that does that. I bought tons of these little chips. And then the little Bluetooth chip I bought has a one contact that controls the skip forward, the skip back, and the play pause. How does it do that? Different resistances. So I got a resistor kit so that I could, solder these different resistances to, different buttons. I figured I would make the track change button skip forward because since the 8-track deck's broken, this will just replace all that. And then, but then I look at the schematic for the Bluetooth adapter, and it doesn't say to just connect the 5 volts directly to the board. It says to connect the 5 volts through an inductor then to the board, and then put a capacitor to ground. And why do you do that? To isolate noise. And who hasn't done that? The people that left 4-star reviews in the comments haven't done that. Because, well, it's great for what it is, but it's a little noisy. And it's like, I guess so then I had to order inductors.
Well, you got a project.
Yeah, but I was just looking at it just before I did the show, actually, and I figured out that no, the 8-track wasn't broke. I thought what had happened was it was one of these models that used a plastic mount to mount the head, and after like 5 decades, this plastic gets brittle and crack, especially since it's under tension to hold the head firmly in place, and the head had slid out. So I was looking at it, and I'm like, well, the head slid out, but I don't see a crack. So I loosened the screw, I slid the head back in, I tightened the screw, and it's holding. It's not cracked. So this changes everything, because now that the 8-track isn't broken, I don't want to disable the 8-track and sacrifice the 8-track to add the Bluetooth. But I still want to add Bluetooth, which greatly complicates things, because now I got a 3-part selector. I can't convert it to a 4-part selector easily. So now I got to do this awkward on-off switch that's independent of which I would have had to have done anyways. But now I've got to get an on-off switch. I think what I need to do is I need to put a bypass to this, because the way it works is that when it's set to 8-track, it's off until you put in an 8-track tape. So you put in the 8-track tape, it connects the switch which provides power to the amplifier and the motor. So I think what I need to do is I need to bypass that selector with basically a through a switch, so that I can turn on the switch independent of putting an 8-track tape in. But I need to use one of those switches that's got 3 leads, or 3 leads, so that 2 of them are on, 2 of them are off, and vice versa. So that way, when I flip it on, it'll flip on the amplifier, but disconnect power to the motor at the same time. And then when I flip it off, it cuts power, but bridges the connection back to the motor again. So that way, if I enter the tape and it connects that switch, the motor will spin up. So I think that's what I need to do. But then I need to figure out how to tap in the Bluetooth module without interfering with the 8-track.
Well, that's a good question.
Sparky asking, are there different Bluetooth technologies, like with using different frequencies? I don't know a whole lot about the frequency range of things with Bluetooth, but I do know that there are different versions of Bluetooth, and I also know there are different things that Bluetooth supports. In fact, modern Bluetooth supports a feature that has a 3-letter abbreviation that I don't remember what it is or what it stands for. But what it basically means is that if you buy Bluetooth adapters in pairs that have that feature, you can actually pair one to be a master, one to be a slave, and have them work together as a stereo pair to take the left signal to one and the right signal to the other.
Oh, nice.
So I could, in theory, get 2 old school Panasonic Dynamite Plunger 8-track players, put Bluetooth in both of them, and make them a stereo pair, so you could put like a red one and a blue one on the table, and one of them's playing the left speaker, one of them's playing the right speaker, and you can get stereo out of them. That would be kind of cool. Although I don't have a red one, so it would be blue and yellow. But yeah.
Well, there you go. That works too.
That's another project on the shelf that I've taken them apart, but haven't quite figured out how to put a Bluetooth in and put it back together yet. But I got sidetracked with the GE, and then I got sidetracked with the turntable. Then I got sidetracked with the cassette. Now I'm back on the GE, and I got that cleaned up. But now I got to figure out how to do the Bluetooth part of it.
Wow.
Yeah, because that'd be kind of cool to, come. Well, the thing is like usually we listen to Bluetooth tunes on the porch at the beach house. And recently my brother was like, yeah, I remember you used to have that GE 8-track player. So it'd be cool if I showed up to the beach with the GE 8-track player, like, hey, remember this? And be like, hey, you can play your Spotify tunes on it now. So that'd be kind of cool. Modern Bluetooth speaker that's a vintage 8-track player.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is sometime in the next few weeks. I mean, I bought all these Bluetooth parts, but again, now the thing is that the 12-volt rechargeable battery will not fit in the 6 C-cell battery compartment. The only place I could have fitted it in here is inside the 8-track cartridge slot, and use some adhesive to adhere it in place there. Not quite as permanent as the epoxy adhesive. Actually, I got this double-sided tape stuff that I bought that I was going to test out, see how that works. But if I put it there, that disables the 8-track player, which is actually still working, so I don't want to do that. But I'm thinking I need 9-volt, not 12-volt, so I'm going to do a search on Amazon to see if I can find...
Just pop a 9-volt back, get one of those 9.6p power jolt things that the old RC cars would run.
Maybe I can find a smaller rechargeable battery that's 9-volt instead of 12-volt that would actually fit in the compartment. If I could find something that fits in that compartment. Or maybe if I cut a hole under the compartment, that might give me an extra half an inch to wedge that further down in there, because I just need just about like an extra half an inch to fit that in. So I got to figure that out. But I got to wake up at 5:45 in the morning tomorrow because, two things are supposed to happen this week. Number one, today is some kind of a special day in Boston where they're running a marathon, which means that it would be very heavy traffic to get into the city. So work.
Is it marathon? Is it marathon today?
Yeah. So they told us, don't come into the office. You all could stay home for 420. I think they really just didn't want people driving stoned. But so they gave us a work from home Monday this week, a exception to the mandatory office Monday, and then last week I went in Tuesday. Dune says,
Dude's like, what? What do you mean?
I worked from home today.
He didn't have to wear pants.
I did not have to wear. I did wear pants. I did not have to.
Wow.
But I did not wear socks. So there you go.
Oh, Mod Pro. Glad you're not here.
Sparky read again. I bet there was a lot of Doritos sold today. Dude writes in, great. Bunch of friggin' stoners. Sparky says, ew. So
it's okay. I think Jack in the Box does have their munchie meal right down the street. That's
do?
what it was meant for.
So this was supposed. Last week was a Tuesday week for me. So this week was my coworkers.
Oh, that's right. You have
Tuesday.
poster.
No. We already had that. That's done. That's said and done.
That was last week, though, right?
Oh, I've lost over 10 pounds at this point.
That's good.
Even after indulging at Easter and poster, I'm down under 260 pounds now.
So cheesecake?
I did have a slice of cheesecake for each. And at poster, my sister made this like apple cinnamon bun dish thing, casserole type of thing. You scoop it out. It's got the apple cinnamon, like apple pie filling and cinnamon bun dough mixed in there.
I had that. I had stuff like that. Yeah.
I felt like 2 pounds going back. I did not weigh myself for the next 3 days.
Yeah, that stuff's delicious, dude.
I waited 3 days to weigh myself again.
We used to get that stuff at the church potlucks where the old ladies used to bring. Oh my goodness, church pot! Yeah. Oh my god, that stuff was amazing.
So yeah, no, I did some damage on poster, but 3 days later I weighed myself and I was less than the previous time before poster. So my 2 cheat meals on back-to-back Sundays did not cancel out the work of the previous week. So I can get away with a cheat day a week, but I'm not going to do that every week because it probably would seriously slow me down. I'd like to get another 10 pounds off before summer.
I understand.
Because 250 is a range that I've spent a lot of time at when I'm just kind of like half dieting, half cheating. So I can maintain a 250 weight if I play it cool and don't indulge too much. And then maybe between summer and the holidays, maybe I could try to lose another 5 pounds. And then the holiday season, I'll probably gain a bunch back. And then New Year's. And so maybe next year I'll actually get like down into the, like, I don't know. I'm not committing to 365 a year like I did before. But I also don't feel like reaching 270. And I was getting close to that.
Yeah.
So it's like if I can continue to maintain the ability to relatively easily get myself to 250 pounds, I'm not in bad shape. Momo wants the treats though.
Yeah, Momo's not watching her waistline. It's fine.
What was I saying though? Before poster. Oh, yes. So I was supposed to, I didn't have to go in the office today, and it was supposed to be my coworker's turn for Tuesday tomorrow. So I wasn't supposed to go in at all this week. But then today my coworker sends me a message going, hey, dude, I got an appointment I set up with my kids. I just got the reminder today. Can you cover for me tomorrow? And then I'll go into the office the next 2 Tuesdays. So I'm going into the office tomorrow, which is good because I left my laptop in the office last week.
I'm telling. Sending text message right now.
So Wednesday morning, I go to my backpack to get my laptop. No laptop in the backpack because it's sitting behind a locked door at my seat. And I know it's still sitting there because it's still online and I was able to remotely connect to it.
Oh, there you go.
But that's okay, because I have a stack of loaners ready to mail out at any time to people who go, oh my God, my computer died. No problem. I'll overnight you one. You'll get it in the morning. So
There
I
you
just
go.
took a loaner off the pile.
You're like, this one's better than mine. I'll use it.
Took the loaner off the pile, logged into it, synced up to my OneDrive, got my desktop files, remoted into the laptop that's sitting in the office, still online, exported my bookmarks, imported them onto the new one. I've been using a loaner this week. So it's like, oh man, I'm not going into the office next week. I'm going to have to wait a whole other week before I get my laptop back and bring it home. Well, this time I get to go, I go in tomorrow. I can get my laptop and get back on my normal laptop.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So that'll be good. Dune asking, how many days have you called him to fill in for you? We've covered each other relatively evenly. I'm not keeping score. He's asked me to cover for him a number of times. I've asked him to cover for me a number of times. And I pretty much know anytime I say, hey, next Tuesday, can you help me out? I don't think he's ever said, no, man, I can't do it. I mean, heck, I think he says yes before he checks whether he really can or not. But he has never. He's always come through on that. So yeah, he's asked me to cover for him a number of times, but he's covered for me a number of times. It's all good. But sorry, Dune, I don't have the numbers. Not keeping score.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, on that note, I think that Dune writes in, fine. I don't know. Did I answer that passive aggressively or something? It's just, we cool. We all cool. I work at a great place,
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's the thing. Like, I would like to make more money. And maybe if I really worked hard on job hunting, I probably could find something that makes more money. But right now, I'm working for the best boss I ever worked for. He's real cool. He's real chill. He backs you up when I need to. Doesn't nag me about anything. Like, how many stories do I have? My Fong, I consider a boss that I got along with well enough and was someone I wouldn't mind working for again. But we had our differences some days. I've never had that with my current boss. My previous boss, fucking moron. Hated the guy. Would never work for him again. But this boss, what am I, let's see. Sparky wants to know, is the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth board inside a laptop the same board or different boards? I think they're different. I know I've changed a Wi-Fi board at least once, but to be honest, I have no idea if that board does both or if there's another one somewhere. I mean, laptops are... A lot of that stuff is built in.
Bluetooth are usually built into the motherboard. The Wi-Fi's are usually not nowadays, but
the Wi-Fi, I think, for a long time has been a separate little module chip that
it's
has
a little,
those little
it's
connectors.
a little MSATA E port on the laptop. Actually, the only reason I know this is I was actually looking up a new one for my laptop yesterday because I'm thinking about updating it from Wi-Fi 6 to 7. So.
And they're a pain in the ass because they have those two little snap-on nubbies that you have to connect the antenna wires onto that never want to quite line up right to click into place.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think Bluetooth is on that module. I think it's built into the motherboard, but I'm guessing
there are some that are both, and it just if some Intel ones have both. I don't know. Mine only has one. I think the one I'm buying. So.
I honestly don't know. It would make sense that a board could do both, but it would also make sense that maybe you keep them separate. because they're different frequencies, so different purpose. I mean, you could fit them both on a board, but I don't. But yeah, those are a pain in the ass. Anyways, where was I? But yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. Everyone's pretty chill at my job. So that really kind of, although I got to tell you, I had a funny thing today. So I get an email from a recruiter about another service desk job that he thinks would be a good fit for a town. I don't know where it is, but it's in the state. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. They're probably not going to pay me enough. Yeah, I hit the delete button. A few minutes later, my phone rings. It's a 908 area code, which is my family's neck of the woods. But it's also an unrecognized number. So I send it to voicemail. It immediately calls me back.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, shit, who died?
And,
no. I better pick this up and see if there's a problem here because the 2 calls in a row from an area code I know people in. I pick it up. It's the damn recruiter that sent me that damn job description.
Oh, okay.
And he says, hey, are you looking for a new job? Is that town good for you? And, you know, it's... I said to him, well, I'm not all that actively looking. I'm really... if I'm going to do something, it's either going to be because I'm getting into sysadmin work or there's a possibility for that. And my salary expectations are in the 150,000 range. That shut him right up, and he was like, okay, well, I'll let you know if I find anything.
Yeah.
As soon as I said 150,000 a year,
he's like, oh, you need to put your thing on LinkedIn then. I'll see you later.
He stopped wanting to learn about me.
Yeah.
That was the quickest you know what? Usually if I have any semi-seriousness about a job, I don't want to open up with money.
Yeah.
But if I know that this is not a fit, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to open with money. And that's a quick way to get them right off the phone.
Oh, yeah.
150 skin. Well, for help desk, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think I can find what I'm making now for help desk. It's help desk is, you know, usually a stepping stone to sysadmin work or security work. I've just been working it so long, I've been able to, you know, build up enough seniority and raises to do well at it. So at this point, if someone wants to recruit me for the help desk job, I'm just throwing out like sysadmin money at them, and that shuts them right down. I know what I'm worth. Just because no one's paying me that now doesn't mean it's not what I'm worth.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dude Renegade, you know, Johnny, there are people you have worked with that if I hear of an applicant with that name, I say, oh, hell no. Just to be safe. Kidding, for legal reasons. Hey, you know what? If you see a Nordine on an application, it's pretty safe to just pass that one. Kidding, for legal reasons. But no, seriously. If you get an application with the name Nordine, ask me, I'll give you the last name.
For, you know, just in case.
Just in case.
I mean, if she had a Facebook.
So Sparky Toaster writes in, what about a Sally? No, never worked with any Sallys. But there was Katie from Denver who ended every sentence like this.
Okay, she has a question.
Katie's probably a name on Dude's list.
Yeah, he probably follows her. Yo, hey Katie.
She did stuff with spreadsheets.
Well.
Dude, Renegade, Nick has zero chance. No. Well, it's easy to. That is an easy one to filter out because he doesn't have a C in his name. If you see a Nick with a C, it's safe. But Nick's a good guy. I'd hire him. so I could tease him about his age.
Oh.
He was easily aggravated, which,
Well,
you
that's
know, it's a
sad.
little mean. Well, here's the thing. Once I realized he was seriously aggravated, I laid off because, like, I don't know how the concept of teasing him about his age came up, but you know, you make a comment, you get a reaction, you're like, ooh, that's some funny workplace banter. So to me, it became more of a workplace joke of endearment, you know, like, you know, yeah, because you're older than me, you know, it's like, you know, it's hard to explain because it was like if you're having a discussion and there was an appropriate moment that it would be a good punchline at the moment. You know me, if I think of a punchline, I say it. I say it before I think it through sometimes. And after a few times doing that with Nick, it's like he was like, you know, he'd get kind of pissy. And it's like, dude, doesn't he realize it's a joke? Like, you know, dude's so he's older than me. I wouldn't joke about it if I really thought it was something bad or inferior. You know, like there's something to be said for seniority. You know, and besides, he's going to be closer up to the front of the line at the pearly gates of heaven. So,
Oh, I see.
There you go. Sparky ready again right about now. Brian would have to pee. Yes, he would. Why? Because Brian is older than Nick. So Brian loved it when I would make the age jokes towards Nick. He thought it was funny because Nick wasn't even the oldest one in the room. But he kind of got a little. He didn't take to teasing that well. And as someone who is also not taking to teasing that well and kind of learned the ropes of ball busting and giving it back as one of the, rather than getting pissed off, I was kind of doing what I learned to do to cope with it. And then it's like, oh, this guy never figured it out. All right, I guess I better lay off. Sparky Renegade, did Brian retire before he headed back east? Yeah, he retired before he started doing the show with me, because what he retired when his wife took a job in Singapore, and that was how I introduced him to the show. Because he retired, they hired a contractor to take over his job and transition his duties to him. And he moved to Singapore. And so I thought that it would be interesting to get him to call into the show every week and kind of talk about life adjusting to living in Singapore. That was my justification. That because also it kept me in touch with him, because it's like, man, you know, you're kind of my work buddy, and now you're moving out to another country. It's like, do you think you could call into the show every week and tell us about what's going on in Singapore? There's going to be a lot of new different things going on. This would be an interesting show topic. And so that was Brian's introduction to the show, was the weekly Singapore field reporter, basically. I think the first week he talked about the adventures of trying to find a sit-down toilet, because every now and then you walk in and it's a squatty toilet. And we brought up an article that gave like the 6 steps for how to use a squat toilet, which Brian referred to as the 6 reasons not to use a squat toilet. So Sparky wants to know if those old streams are on YouTube. I don't think we were streaming to YouTube at that point. I've got recordings. I could try to find some from that era to get some of the Singapore calls together. Maybe that'd be a fun little trip down memory lane if we can entice him back. That'd be more fun than the NHB trips down memory lane that bore him to tears. But yeah, that was how I got Brian onto the show. And that was how we ended up with the Asian wife picture, because when Dune sent the stuffed dog around to make a photo album, Brian was the only option we could come up with to get an international stop along the way. So So he did that, and Brian found a local nearby to hold the dog, and dude thought that she might be his wife, but that was not his wife. But yeah, so his wife took the job in Singapore. They were there for a few years, and then they moved back to California like a few weeks before I moved back east. Which Mars, remember you were there because we all went. Gothard came out, helped us pack up. We all went out to Papa Poncho's together for lunch. There's a group shot of all of us somewhere. That I think half of your head's cut out of.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Somewhere there's that picture might be on my Twitter somewhere still. I think I tweeted that picture out. I guess I need to go see if Twitter's working right, and go to the media tab and see.
It was not working this morning. Twitter was down.
It wasn't working yesterday.
Huh?
Yeah, it looks like it's working now. I just
it's
don't
working
know.
now. Well, I had to. That's how I clicked on the DM. So.
I just know that it only lets you go back so far.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if when I posted that picture is still in the range that I can scroll back to. So, yeah, let's see. That's my Best Sweatpants Award. That's Beavis and Butthead. That's Dune saying what. That's the load-bearing plate. It's a bottle of French salad dressing. That's me playing mellophone. It's a Zenith TV. It's Dune. It's a Commodore. It's an old cassette. It's a dude wiping his butt on the escalator railing. This goes back to early COVID days now. That's an old Aunt Jemima figure at a antique store.
Yeah. Yeah, that's relevant nowadays.
That's some hanging corn dogs. It's a jar of moonshine. That's a kick in the nuts bag of Doritos. It's a K-Tel board game. That's a bunch of Post-it notes on a microwave. That's a Bob Ross coffee mug. That's a Archie's 8-track tape. That's a half-speed mastered Boz Skaggs LP. It's a K-Tel 8-track tape. That's a bagpipe record.
I have that.
That's an Al Jolson record. That's the old car in the. All right, so this doesn't scroll back to California. God damn! Do I have a copy of that picture somewhere else? Shit. Oh man, and yeah, that's not good. I liked that picture.
I think there was a way you could get like all your archived stuff from like when you started.
Yeah, because I remember at one time, it would scroll back and it ended at the those clips that we were making Alexa sing songs.
Yeah.
About and that was a time that I realized how important inflection is, because we asked Brian, what should we make it say, and Brian said, "Fucking A, man." And when you just put those words as a song lyric, it's a song about fucking a man, which sounds a whole lot different than fucking A, man.
That is not, no.
That's not the song Brian had in mind.
No.
But that's the song Brian inspired.
There you go, Brian. Sorry, Brian.
So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to download my Twitter history. And I think I did that once, but...
I did that once, too, and I think I deleted it.
I don't know where I saved it. I got so many folders and so many hard drives.
I haven't tried.
Oh, you know what we could do? If Brian showed up...
I have like 15 years of Twitter, I think it is.
Did you listen to the beginning of yesterday's show, or did you jump in later?
I was napping at the beginning of the show.
Oh.
So
we could do a Name That Tune.
Okay.
You like, because I was going to, if Brian showed up, I thought maybe
I'm
we'd see
horrible
if
at these, but I'd like to listen.
You know the because I worked on a song recently. Now those that heard yesterday's show know what song I worked on recently. But you listen to the oldies from the '60s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see if you recognize the drum beat.
Is it working on the bay. Did it? Oh no, that's not the song.
I could throw the bass in. That might give it away,
I'm
though.
horrible at these. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's Oh god, I suck at these. I know this. I do know this. Is it? It's not Temptations. I don't know it. I don't.
Should I throw in a guitar or a piano?
Throw something else in, because I'm not good at these, but I like doing them. Good song, whatever it is. Great
Still
song.
Not getting it?
It's
Still not getting
it's
it?
great song. I don't know the song. Apparently, I don't know the song.
Well, yeah,
Good song.
So you still don't recognize it?
No, I don't.
You'll probably recognize it when I add the horns back in. Got it now?
Yeah, I know the song. I don't know the name of it. I can't remember the name. I know the song.
You got your troubles, I got mine.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I also see. I hear someone do these every day. There's actually challenges online you can do about these, and I hear someone do these every day, and I suck at it every day. But I try every day. I just really suck at it.
Now that's what a stereo mix should sound like.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one that was probably recorded to 4-track. So the backing track of the drum, bass, guitar, and piano was all bounced down to 1 track. So they were locked in. And then they overdubbed the vocals, and then they overdubbed that other vocal part towards the end, and then they overdubbed the horns. So that's like the only elements. So they panned the band to the left, the horns to the right, the vocals to the center, and the other overdubbed vocal to the right. That was all they could do. So you just have the whole band chilling over there, and the horn section chilling over there, with a bunch of singers
great,
in between.
Though. And you know what was interesting about the '60s when they did a lot of this stuff. You know, to make a karaoke track, all you did was have to pan one side over, and you got a karaoke track. Because like how many songs did you hear from the '60s that all the vocals are over to the right, and everything is to the left?
Yeah. Well, the Beatles did a lot of that.
Yeah,
in the early days.
and you're like, okay, well, so all you do is have to pan, or either that, or just take one ear cup off. Then you're there, done.
Well, in the early days of the Beatles, they weren't even recording the 4-track. They didn't get 4-track till Sgt. Pepper. That stuff was all being recorded down to 2-track. So they literally could only overdub one thing at a time, so you pretty much they ended up with music on 1 track, vocals on another track, and panned it that way. Basically, stereo technology as a consumer format came out before the studios were ready to do anything effective with it. But fortunately, it worked out in the end. It's just that some of the early stuff, you got to use AI if you want to get a good sounding stereo mix. Now, Sparky got it right.
Yeah, Sparky.
I don't know at what point he typed it in though. Sparky, what part did you get it at?
He probably got it at like
The bass?
the base. Probably got it at the base.
I mean, if you know the song, the bass does kind of give you the chord change. So that's a good place to get it at. Dune wants Brian's photo. What? Don't you follow him on Twitter? Oh, wait.
I think someone might have gotten blocked on the Twitter at one point or another. Just saying.
Let's see. Let's see if we can find a good photo of Brian before we wrap this up then to help out Dune. Is it raining there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear
It's raining
that.
pretty hard right now.
Wow.
So,
yeah, you got some rain.
Yeah. It's actually it was actually thundering a little while ago. I had to unplug my power to my laptop, so I don't need the Dune thing of 1990 something where it shocked his head with the headphones. So
Yeah.
I have a laptop, so I just unplug the power.
Huh. He doesn't have a lot of... The best photo he has of him, his face is painted green.
Yeah, there you go.
Most photos on his Facebook are photos he's taken. So he's on the other side of the camera. He's taken lots of pictures of cars and flowers and Christmas decorations.
This is your ASMR rain. They cannot copyright this. This is copyright Mother Nature right now, just to let you know. Sorry.
And whales.
I've always wanted to do ASMR rain. Yeah, there. Oh, great.
All right. Well, on that note, it's that time again. It is time for me to put another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
to bed. But we do try to be educational here. And so, Mars, what have you learned this week?
I learned that the key chews were on the moon from the song. That's what I learned.
That's what you learned. And I learned that Copilot and Grok cannot agree on what turntable Gators should buy. And I also learned that marine epoxy is good for fixing tone arms.
And Sparky has GPS located me. Thank you.
He's GPS located you?
Look at the chat. I think he GPS located me.
You are somewhere in the range of that picture.
Yeah.
Which means that you could be anywhere from Eureka to Salinas. So,
Yep.
Actually, no, it goes as north as Crescent City. You can be anywhere from Crescent City to Salinas.
I know nobody from Crescent City that I know of.
You used to know someone from
No,
Crescent
I don't
City.
know anybody from Crescent City, sir.
It's okay because you're both in agreement.
Yeah.
You both agree on one thing, and that is you are not speaking to each other. That you are both in staunch agreement of.
Since 2019. Yep. Oh, well.
I haven't heard from her in forever. I think she's still on my Twitter, but she hasn't.
I think I blocked her, but I don't delete anybody, but I think I blocked her.
She's a strong personality.
Yeah. That's all I'll say.
But
I'm sure she's very much partaking today. and the other 364 days this year.
I was gonna say, what's the difference between today and any other day of the year? Dune sending in a oh my God, he sent in a video of Brian. Is what he
Oh, okay, there you go.
Hey there. Just thought I'd check in and say hi.
Sounds exactly like him.
This doesn't work without the video because that does not That does not sound like him.
That sounded like Brian 30 years ago. Or it might sound like his brother. I don't know.
It might. He does have a twin brother.
Yes, he does.
With a mustache.
You know what? He should shave his mustache, and there you go.
AKA Evil Brian. But
oh yeah. Well, does he have the goatee?
No, he should grow the goatee.
Hey
yeah,
there.
dude's having fun. Well,
Just thought I'd check in and say hi.
yeah. There you go.
Hey there. Just thought I'd check in and say hi.
Oh dear. Okay.
Sounds just
On that
like
note,
him. On that note, we got to go. You know what? We actually have a few viewers here, so we should go find someone to raid.
Yeah, who's raiding tonight?
Let's see. We got some options. We got some options. Let's see. You know what? We can raid Pineapple Hoops.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's online right now.
Yeah, we haven't raided her in a few weeks at least.
Yeah. Well, with that's not saying much, is it?
We haven't been on in a few weeks. That's okay. That's okay. We could, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna do that, and we'll be back next week, same time, same place, and hopefully I'll have some more news about turntables. And heck, maybe I'll even have a conference room shut down tomorrow to talk about.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky. All right.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Night, guys.
And we are rated.
Okay.
All right. Catch you later.
Good night.
Good night.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.